Jacob, what is a core memory from when you were a blue belt? Something interesting or funny that always stuck with you?
I don't think I did anything as a blue belt.
I mean, you won trials.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, I didn't do shit as a blue belt. I'm like, you fucking won the biggest thing you could win.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I won trials as a blue belt, but I'm trying to think of like.
It's like a core memory, something
yeah,
that like
something that, yeah. I think I buggy choked Nicky Ryan as a blue belt. Or maybe that was after trials, but I think I buggy choked him as a blue belt. That's core memory for sure.
Do you have any techniques you learned at blue belt that you still use today? All of them.
Yeah, all of them, yeah. Yeah, I mean, blue belt wasn't that long ago, I guess, so it's just fucking.
So it should be clear memory for you. It should be.
No, my memory's terrible, but yeah, I use everything. I don't learn much. I don't drill techniques or anything. It's just fucking studying film, and I don't know, half of it's bullshit, but it works.
If you had to go back in time and give yourself some advice as a blue belt, what advice would you be? What advice would you give yourself?
Put more time into leg locks, I guess. I still gotta do that. Fuck. Certain things with competition, like starting earlier, I've always had this issue since wrestling. I'm not as intense in the beginning. So a lot of times it fucks me up. All blue belts should know how to take someone down, how to pass their guard, and how to submit someone. So I'm going to be showing you guys the first takedown you should know. Alright, so the first takedown that you should really get into is the simple duck under, right? Super easy to do in nogi when you really know what you're looking for. So I'm going to show you guys right now. So ideally, when I'm trying to set up the duck under, I'm looking to have a collar tie on my opponent. And when I have a collar tie, I have my forearm on their collar, and I'm kind of reaching my hand around, like trying to grab almost their far ear and retract that wrist down to just kind of misalign their head and put them in a worse position. So we have this, and then ideally I want to have inside tie here, or you could also have an outside tie lower out on the elbow. You'll feel like a bone here. It's easy for you to like really grip onto that, especially in nogi. It's a really good grip. So we're here. Ideally I want to be forehead to forehead. Sometimes you are kind of in this, like my forehead is on my, or I guess like temple to temple. This is also okay, but ideally I want to be forehead to forehead. So we're here. The main trigger that we're looking for here is our opponent's weight coming back into us. So in order to cause that reaction, we're going to first pressure into our opponent. He then pressures back. As I feel him pressure back, I'm going to take this elbow grip and shoot it up high as I lower my level. So I'm lowering my level here. You can drop to a knee if you feel like that's more comfortable for you. But regardless, we're either coming to a knee or staying kind of on our feet here. Shooting this arm by past our head. Once it's past our head, I'm going to start looking towards the ceiling, and the whole time I'm going to keep my right hand, this kind of claw grip here. Once I pass that arm by, I'm going to take a step in deeper, closer towards my opponent's hips, cut this corner, and then I can begin building up to a standing rear body lock, where I have standing rear body lock, or I can keep the claw grip and almost like a thigh pry. So we're going to show another angle here. So I have collar tie, and I have either an inside tie or an outside tie where I'm grabbing my opponent's elbow here. We're either forehead to forehead or temple to temple. Ideally, forehead to forehead is better for this. So I'm pressuring in. Once I feel him pressure back into me, that's going to be my trigger to start lowering my level. He pressures back. I lower my level as I shoot this arm super high up. My knee hits the mat. Second knee post by his foot. So I'm getting my body close towards his hips. I pass his arm by my head, so now I'm looking towards the ceiling. I'm going to begin cutting this corner, keeping this claw grip super, super tight as my far hand, or my hand reaches the far hip, and then we can begin looking for standing rear body locks from here. A common issue when it comes to doing the duck under is the threat of the guillotine, right? So in order to negate that, I'm pointing this out, but I never really explained it. So I have the collar tie. Once I lower my level and I pass my arm by, if I keep my head low, it's going to be easy for my opponent to insert that arm. But if I make sure I pass this arm by, and I'm immediately looking up towards the ceiling, it's gonna be a lot harder for my opponent to reach back. And at the same time, this is like a quick move. Like, we're gonna be in this low stance for a split second, and then we're immediately coming up. Whereas we're not just lowering our level and staying there for an extended period of time. So just one more time. He pressures into me. I'm passing this arm by. I'm immediately looking towards the ceiling to push his arm back to help defend the guillotine, and then cutting that corner here. And then we're getting our opponent to the standing rear body lock. So I'll show you guys one of the main ways I like to take my opponent down from standing rear body lock. So we're here. I usually, when it comes to the duck under, I'm gonna have the gable grip on the far hip, right? So let's rotate a bit. The gable grip is on the far hip while my hip's on the opposite side here. So we're gonna use that circling to help use that momentum to kind of keep everything nice and tight, right? So as I circle across, I don't wanna begin removing that lock and moving it towards the center or the far side. I'm gonna keep it here, step across, and then we can begin bringing our hips in, and we're keeping the gable grip on the same side to make sure everything's nice and tight here. So we're here, gable grip is nice and tight. I'm gonna step across, and then I'm bringing my knee over, pinching my knees here, and then we can either begin pressuring forward, and this will either break our opponent down to turtle or a quad pod, and then from here we can begin inserting hooks, or further circling our opponent down by kind of doing like a spiral ride, where I either keep the gable grip locked and I'm inserting this elbow upwards and the opposite elbow down. So let's rotate back in quad pod. So I have gable grip here. I'm either circling here where left elbow is bumping his upper body while right elbow is circling his lower body down, and then we can begin attacking from here. So we have standing rear body lock. Just be standing for now. Standing rear body lock. I step across. I'm pinching my knees and helping, guiding my opponent down to the mat. They'll either be turtle. If they're turtle, that's good. If they're in quad pod, which is going to be a more common reaction, we can begin breaking them down from here using a spiral ride. So we're either going to keep our hands locked and shoot one elbow up towards his upper body and the opposite elbow down towards his hips, and circle him down towards his hip, like so. I guess for the other blue belts that are looking at this, don't compare yourself to others just because, or maybe don't put yourself in a lower position just because someone else is a fucking black belt or something, or any higher belt. It doesn't really fucking matter. The moment I was a white belt, the moment I was fucking training, I was like strangling and beating, like I remember like a purple belt world champ or whatever, and my coach was like, "You know who that was?" I was like, "No, but I choked him." So yeah, don't compare yourself to others. Train hard.